Good evening, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Powerpuff Babes podcast, where sugar meets spice and everything nice. We're your hosts, Allie, Mo, and Kat, and tonight we have some very scrumptious things going on because Mo let us know earlier this week, we wanted to save it for the podcast, that she has some tea. Piping hot.
Yeah. It's it's something that happened to me this week, and I wanted to talk about it on the podcast because I felt like it was kind of necessary. And given what happened, do you guys? I want to hear you guys' guesses on what happened because I know y'all saw my story that night, and I know I had a picture that said I got a free shot because some shit went down.
Wait,
Ooh,
What do you?
yes, I did see that.
what did the picture have?
It
As
was just
I
a shot
don't
glass.
remember.
It
I
was a
got a free
shot glass
shot.
with the bar in the background, and the caption was like, "Got a free shot because some shit went down."
I don't think I saw that one. I could be
What do you
wrong.
think happened? I wanna know your guesses
I'm
on
gonna
what
say a
happened.
bar fight.
I was about to say the same exact thing.
If it's at a bar, it has to be a fight. Or
Well, or I'm hearing or. I'm the
well,
seal now, or
I guess it could still be considered a bar fight if it's between girls too. Cat fight.
uh, I'm gonna start it off with saying that
We're
I
wrong.
went to 2 bars before then. Yeah, I went with JP and Rob, and okay, Rob will probably give his piece in the comments, but um we went to Littlewood Rose. It's this place in Houston, and it was okay, right? So we still didn't drink that much, right? I didn't drink enough tonight or that night where I was tipsy or anything, right? So we went to there. We went to this place called Unicorn Disco. By the way, it was so cute. Definitely recommend if anybody goes to Houston. And then JP wanted to go to Bombshells because he was hungry. And I was like I was like iffy on it, but I was like, you know what, let's go. And as soon as we get there, I have to pee because I drank. I have to go pee. So I go to the restroom, or we're walking to our table, and um, I don't sit down. The guys are right there at the booth, and I go, hey, like I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be back. And they're like, okay. So I give JP my wallet, and I walk to the restroom. And literally, there's so few people. It's a Tuesday night. There's so few people that everybody in the restaurant at this point could fit at the bar if they wanted to. And then I did my business. There's like 2 workers in the restroom, I guess fixing up a girl's makeup, talking about like, oh, somebody wants you over here. So they like walk out, not that far from me. So I walk out and I almost bump into this guy at the restroom. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. We apologized. And he's an older man. He looked a lot, he could have probably been around my dad's age. He had gray on his beard and everything. And as I'm walking away, I like to fast walk to my tables because I don't like to stick around for anything. So he he grabs my arm and he yanks my arm back and he goes, "Hey, do you
Ayo.
work here?" And I go,
Um,
"No, I don't work here." And I keep walking. He goes, "What's your name?" And I go, my name's Jessica." Like I said the and everything. Like um, you could tell he was really drunk. He wouldn't have really like. I guess he wouldn't have noticed or something that I like stuttered.
yeah.
And then he kept following me. And he was like, "Where's your table at?" And I go, "Oh, it's a not where's your table. Who are you with?" And I go, "Oh, I got my friends over there." I didn't spare him another glance. I just fast walked to the table. And when he grabbed my arm, I had these sleeves. There's no way you could have known that I worked there because I don't work there. I didn't wear anything similar to what the girls were wearing. And hold on, let me see if I can find a reference picture.
What the fuck? Just grabbing your arm like that?
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
dude. Yeah, he was an older man. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, hey,
Oh,
yo.
yeah, I was about to
He
say I would
was,
have turned around and slapped across his face. Like, don't touch me. You're not supposed to touch anybody that you don't
no, I
know.
know. We had literally just gotten there. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, if he had grabbed me again, I would have definitely been like very loud, like, hey, like, don't do that. But I was like really wanting to go sit down. I just really wanted to go back to where Rob and JP were. So I was gonna brush it off. Me, myself, like, I try to like pretend it didn't happen because like in a girl's world, it's like you have to pretend to be nice so that way like this man doesn't hurt you or anything. So
Right.
I was like freaked out a little bit, but I was like, hey, like I told JP, I said, hey, I think you're gonna have to come with me next time or whatever, because this dude, did you guys see him? They were like, no, we were in our own conversation. We don't know who you're talking about. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm looking around, I don't see the guy anywhere. And so JP comes out, lets me slide into the booth, and I'm still looking around at this point. We get ordered our drinks. I'm still like, what the fuck? But like, I'm brushing it off. And this random guy comes up to us. He goes, hey, I'm sorry about my cousin for what he did. And I was really confused. I was like, either the guy talked or he saw what happened. So he
Yeah.
was like, I'm sorry. Like, I've been raised by just my mom and everything. Like, I apologize for how he acted. I imagined you were so very uncomfortable. And I was like, thank you. And he goes, can I get you anything? And I was like, well, you can get me a shot, right? And I was so confused. He goes, gets me the shot. And then the security comes up to me and he goes, hey, I saw what happened. I was there going into the restroom and I saw the altercation. I saw what happened. I didn't hear what he asked you, but all I heard was you say, hey, no, I don't work here. And then I saw that he grabbed you and I said, oh, that's not okay. And whenever you went back to your table and was watching, I thought that when like your friend got up, I thought he was gonna go and like talk to the guy. And I was like, oh no, here we go. But then, I saw you sit down. Everybody was like, nobody saw who the guy was except me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look across the bar and I see the guy. And I point out to Rob because he's a straight shot for Rob to see, but there's still people in JP's way, so I don't think JP ever got a glance at him. But Rob saw him. I go, hey, that's the guy. He goes, oh yeah, he is an older guy. Like, I'm not kidding, he was an older guy. And by the end of the night, the security was like, I went up to him and I said, thank you so much. Like, you don't see or you don't hear a lot of people try to stand up for somebody like that or to be like, say something, because I never would have said anything.
Right.
And hold on. This is what the girls were wearing. Where is it? Where do we have our socials? Oh, here. That's what the girls wear. There's no fucking way you can confuse that I work there.
Yeah. You're in
And
like
then,
Bro,
it, and he's like, you work?
what?
Yeah, I fucking work here. Like, what? No.
hold on. And this is what I was wearing. Like, I took a picture because I was like, dude, there's no fucking way you can mistaken that I work there.
Bruh, literally,
Bro, what? Yo.
there's absolutely no way that he was like, oh, she works here for sure. Like, sir,
Yeah.
no.
Nah, that was a lame ass excuse.
I was like, what the fuck? And then I think the security guard, and we see him there all the time, right? Like, the fact that like he was like, I guess at the right place at the right time, like freaked me out. I was like, oh shit! Like I never would have like I would have just let the who knows what would have happened if the guy wasn't there, if like the security guard wasn't there, because the security guard said that the guy tried to run out on his bill of $50, and he was like, oh yeah, my wallet's in my car. His wallet was in his pocket, and he had $55 on him. He was gonna skip out on his tab, and they made him give up his keys because of how drunk he was, and he was going in the Uber and he was complying up until the end, saying like fuck you, blah 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 to the security guard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would you try to skip out on your fucking dab? Hello? Like, why?
Right,
It
like, they
wouldn't have.
let you leave.
And I was like, if he hadn't said anything, he probably also would have driven home drunk, or maybe his
Yeah.
cousin or whoever he was would have driven him. But I was like, what the absolute fuck. That was the wildest shit. But I was like, it's so nice. Not only that his friend was trying to stand up and being like, yeah, this is extremely wrong. Like, I apologize on his behalf. And the security guard actually doing something. You know, not a lot of women
Yeah.
actually get that. And I was like, holy shit. I just wanted you guys' like genuine reactions. It still freaks me out because the guy grabbed my sleeve, like you can see my sleeves, and he tugged on it like really hard for me to turn around to face him. And all he did was walk out of the restroom. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want?
Bruh,
Yeah.
I would have immediately turned and slapped him across the
Bro,
face. Like,
literally,
don't
I
touch my
would.
shirt, you
I
know?
don't care why you're grabbing me. You could be the sweetest old lady. I will turn around with the meanest punch. Like, you're getting decked in the face. Like, it's. I'm sorry. Like, don't grab me, especially if I'm not aware and especially if I don't know you. Like, no, that's not a thing.
I'm, I'm, I
Oh,
don't care how drunk you are. I don't care how old you are. If you touch me and I don't know you, you are gonna get decked in the face.
Facts.
For
I was
real.
more genuinely scared because the way the bombshells is set up is that the restrooms are more towards the back and it's a small space. So he could have easily and nobody was even really at the bombshells, right? So I don't know if he could have grabbed me, taken me more towards where people couldn't see or anything. So I was more
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, trying to brush him off, try to get him to follow me kind of out towards where people could actually see me. And I didn't even know the security guard was even there. I didn't see him at all. But apparently he was there. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't even remember if those girls that I had seen in the restroom came out or if they were back where they were supposed to be. I don't remember any of that. All I remembered was that um I was fucking scared and all I wanted to do was go sit down.
I wonder if you blocked them out because you were scared. Like, you were so focused on just, like, getting away from him and getting to the table that you just, like, didn't see anybody else. Or, like, can't
Yeah.
recall anybody else.
Yeah, that had to be more than likely, but all I'm saying is that if you see something, you see somebody grabbing somebody or even like all up in somebody's business, you have to say something. I wouldn't have
Oh
said
no,
anything.
yeah. Dude,
I was like,
it's
mm,
crazy how it's like there's all this shit going on for the girls especially because I recently just got a TikTok from my mom, and we actually we were watching the news last night and it came up again with that same TikTok. And I'm telling y'all really need to be careful because now they're coming up with these like oh $20 bills or like dollar bills or like different amounts of
mhm,
bills with like different substances inside of them. So if you pick them up, like you can get
yeah,
affected by it. And
Yeah.
this girl uh had recently posted a TikTok about how she had found I can't remember if it was like a tissue on like her windshield or it
yeah,
was like on her
yeah. No, it was in her car.
doorknob.
It was on the passenger door handle. So
That's what it was.
she had to move it, and she tried not touching it. She tried
Yeah.
touching with her nails. So when she didn't really touch the paper, but she did touch where the handle was, and she
Mm-hmm.
touched it with her fingertips, and she got extremely sick. And even from I saw this TikTok, this girl from Shein. I don't know if I sent it to you guys, but it was this girl who ordered this gold what is it called? It's
Mhm.
like this gold paper where you put it on art or whatever, or nails or something, and you can dust it off. It's really, really thin or something like that.
Oh yeah, like the gold plated sheets for
Yeah.
Yeah.
decoration and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had ordered something like that, and she was working on it because she does it with nails or her makeup or something. And she said as soon as it touched her hands, it melted and her fingers started going numb. And she was like, "Oh well." She tried washing it
Yes.
off, and then the next day, her arm up to her elbows was numb. And even weeks later, her hands started peeling.
Yikes.
Yo, I'm telling you, like she was explaining how she felt very sick and um somebody had explained that she had said that she felt like tingling, almost like like your hand was like your entire hand was just going numb. So she just felt that. And so then her husband, because she had asked her husband too, because she thought it was like some sort of prank on her. So she had asked her husband if he had put it there, and he had told her no, but I would just go wash your hands real quick. So she went back inside, washed her hands, came back out, still touched the handle with her fingertips, and she managed to get sick. Now they had taken her to the hospital, and they had done all of these tests. They were like, man, what could it
Yeah,
be?
she
Like, they
didn't
did
have enough on
everything.
her or in her system because
Exactly.
she barely touched it. So
But
they couldn't determine what it was.
yeah, but no, they ended up determining that it was like a really strong um like anesthetic, like a sedative, and
Yeah.
they had realized that's what they're using to abduct these girls now. Like, that's how they're
Yeah.
doing it.
It's fucking terrifying, dude. No, I didn't know about like. Well, I after that story with the lady in the tissue, like I was like, oh shit, you know. But I haven't really seen any more. But ever since that one TikTok, like I'll be careful what I touch. So when the guy grabbed me, I was very worried. But he grabbed my sleeve. He didn't grab my skin. And obviously, I think he would have gotten like sick if he touched it. So,
Yeah, I
but
just saw a video recently. This guy or this dad, his daughter had her car like parked out like in their driveway, and he said that she worked in the city and it was like about an hour-ish drive, hour and a half drive back to the house. So she was making that commute like to and from work every day, and she like worked later. And he said for like from the video, he said like for that day and for like the past few days, like 3 days or so, every time he came out to the driveway in the morning, she had a zip tie on her rear passenger door handle because they were like marking her car,
yeah,
assuming they were like trying to watch her route home and probably do something on her way home,
Mm-hmm.
which is like terrifying that someone was watching her like that for
Yeah.
multiple nights. They were putting that zip tie back.
It's just, man, like, it's just getting really hard for women nowadays, especially since, there's so much human trafficking that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
But we hear about it all the time. But you don't, if you really think about it, we don't really think about the statistics of how
hmm
bad human trafficking is. And mostly children and women. Never, like, I've never heard a lot about that. Well, I can't say I've never heard. I've haven't heard as much about the men than the women and the children.
Right. Yeah.
hmm
And it's just crazy. They just try to come up with these different techniques to try to lure you, so that way you don't know what you're walking into. you know there's
Yeah.
like there's like a lot of shit going on. Like, uh it'll be like, recently somebody said that somebody had left a phone on her windshield of her car. Another one said that they tied a bag around like the front guard of her car. And then there's the whole thing with the napkin, the dollar, like the bills with the different substances in there. um I heard another one of, oh fuck, I forget, I can't remember exactly what it is. But it's something that you have to be careful with. And especially, there are times that I've seen TikToks where, like, they'll do like these little like Jeep challenges where they'll leave like little duckies like on their Jeeps and shit. um that's something that you should really be careful with, especially since I understand it's a little joke, like, between the car community with the Jeep car community. It's a little joke, but you never know that maybe these human traffickers are using that as well as like a cover.
Yeah, it was a while back, and it's just scary how adaptive it keeps becoming. It's like every week almost it's something new that, they've come up with, or a way that they've found that things, can make it easier for them. I had seen about it on Twitter a lot. It was kind of going viral, which is good. I would love to take the kinda out of that, but people were coming out and saying that they were using these, like, they would, I guess, either like randomly put in numbers or find a, like, just random numbers or whatever, and they would text people these links, and it would be like, oh, your Amazon package, or oh, this subscription to, like, Netflix or something, like really common
Oh
shit that
yeah.
like people would be like, oh shit, like what the fuck happened. and they would put a link to it, and when you clicked on the link, it would sync your phone to their thing, and they would like know your location.
Yeah,
Dude, you just
I
reminded me.
had a
I
lot of
got that
Amazon
shit.
ones.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
that shit for my Instagram. But I was like, that's weird. I didn't like put my Instagram anywhere else. It's just on my phone. So I went back to
Mhm.
my Instagram in the app and I was just like, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. So why did I get this message? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna delete it just to be safe. So I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would
That's
get them a lot through text
crazy.
messages. Like, I don't get them anymore, but I did for like this brief period for some reason. And it was always like, hey, your Amazon package is like either delayed or something, but it would always have a link to it. And even now,
Mhm.
like my parents are like selling their house, and there'll be like people calling my or they used to be calling my number, but they usually call the numbers that are linked to my dad's like a phone plan, and they'll be like, hey, like I'm here, I want to talk about like this house, or like they'll send a text with a link, like I'm interested in the house, but I won't click
Yeah.
anything because I don't trust that shit.
No, for real.
Yeah. It's hard to trust anything at this point. Like it's all like you never know because it's literally like I didn't know about the like the texting thing that I found that out apparently after it had been a thing for a couple weeks. But I was fortunate enough to like learn about the zip ties and all of those things pretty quickly. So now I kind of keep an eye out for that. But it's just scary how like, I was just vibing, living life, like could have been, just been like, oh, like, because, me and my mom use the same Amazon account. So I could have easily clicked on that being like, oh, like, I wonder, let me tell her that her thing's been delayed or whatever. So I could have easily sent that link to her or I could have clicked it myself. And that's terrifying.
I didn't know about the zip ties one, but either way, like ever since I heard that people can hide under your car and they'll be like trying to slash at your like ankles, every time like I go to the car, the first thing I do is I look underneath the car, especially from like a distance, or if I can't see from a distance, I'll try and like to distance myself from the door so that way like somebody can't technically reach, or I always look around, and no matter where I'm at, like I've been to a park with my friend, even like that Tuesday night when we went walking towards from Littlewood Rose to Unicorn Disco. I forgot what happened. JP was fixing like his pant leg or something, and it was just us three out at downtown, and I was so uncomfortable, and they were like, it's fine, like if anybody has to come through to get you, it's like me and Rob. I was like, no dude, like I'm still very uncomfortable because people, it's not gonna just either be one guy or a guy with nothing on him or anything. And then
Yeah.
even like a few years ago, I went to a park with some friends of mine. There's five dudes. And I was so uncomfortable. I was looking around, it's dark, and they were like, no, don't worry, it's okay. Like, you have all of us. And I was like, y'all don't understand. Like, I'm very uncomfortable. Like, somebody could pop out of these bushes, somebody could, like, do something.
Yeah.
But I've noticed
Like, you
that
never
in
know what they'll have.
a lot towards guys, they don't realize exactly what goes through our minds and what we do to take precaution every day to, like, make sure that, fuck, something doesn't happen like that. Now it's fucking
Yeah.
tissue paper and dollar bills that we have to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about that
Just
whole ankle slashing thing.
Like,
That's new.
$5
well,
rich
that's
or
been a
anything.
thing for
Like,
a long time.
Really? I've never heard of that one.
Yeah. There's a girl,
like
she
I
had a
five
story
dollars.
that somebody slashed her Achilles. She had to learn to walk for a while or
Oof.
something
Yeah.
like that.
I always check under the car now. Not even because of like learning about that realistically. There was a movie that me and my friends watched, a horror movie, and it was this like mime clown thing. It's called The Terrifier. I enjoyed it, but for fucked up reasons. I thought the shit was hilarious, but not like it was specific parts of it. I'm not gonna get into that, but it's a really good movie. Anyways, there's a part where he's trying to get one of the girls, so he's under the car and he like slashes her Achilles, and I was just like, and ever since then, I've always looked under my car. I was just
Mm,
like, "Oh, that shit, like, just it makes you cringe." I was like, no, I do not want that happening to me. Killer clown or fucking human trafficker. Like, I'm good. That's terrifying.
nah,
Killer
dude.
Clown. You remember that Killer Clown shit in 2016?
Oh man, They're saying they're coming back for
Yeah,
this
Oh
they're thinking
year.
about
my God.
coming back.
They're trying to
That shit
pull up
was
again.
so fun.
I was
All
People
I
just
heard
like
was
popping up with
about.
random videos of clowns in the forest, and the shit was hilarious.
Oh yeah, no.
I know.
That shit
I thought it
was
was like pretty funny
crazy.
because obviously it wasn't like in my area. Not obviously it was in my area. Oh my god, no, but like
Mm.
I didn't take it that seriously. I never really heard anything.
Like,
And then some people like not that long ago were like, yeah, they tried like breaking into my house and like stabbing me and whatever. I was like, what the fuck? I thought this
what
was a
the?
joke.
Yeah,
No,
Like you
no.
were
literally. I
kidding.
was laughing at it, and then like I didn't know if it was real or not, and I think it was. Like some dude had genuinely gotten stabbed, like, and was
Yeah,
in the
like
hospital, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Yo, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a funny meme video where y'all just stand in the forest and then like run really quickly at the camera. Like this is not like
yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't take
around
it
really,
seriously.
like that's not, I did not think it was a real thing. But
Yeah,
apparently some
no.
people took it way too far, and I was like, yikes, this is why we can't have nice things.
No, for real, because like they started off with that, right? Studying in the forest, but then they decided to take it to the streets and then to schools. So then,
Yeah,
like, a lot of kids got scared, and then it got to the point where I remember when it was during that time, it was like by the ending of that, um, somebody had posted on Instagram and had tagged most people who went to my school, and then they had tagged the school itself, and they were like, I guess it was just a joke, like one of the kids were just making a joke about it, but they were like, oh, you thought you were safe, like so and so school, like be prepared, we're going, like you're next. And so then everybody was just freaking the fuck, like they were freaking the fuck out. They were just like, oh my gosh, most people didn't go to school the next day. um and the principal was just like, we're looking into this, like there's nothing to worry about, like they had called police, they had called like extra presence of police at the campus. And I was just like, damn.
yeah,
Like, I know this was a kid, and I think most people knew who it was. I knew who it was, but obviously, like, I didn't say anything, mainly because at the time I thought it was a funny joke. But looking back at it, I should have been like, yeah, he should have like took consequences to his actions.
yeah,
But they like eventually figured it out. Like somebody had told the principal who it was, and they were like, okay. Like out of school suspension for like this amount of days. I can't remember how long it was, but he didn't come back for like
probably a
maybe
good
like
few months.
a couple months or so. Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while. He was like one or two grades under me, which is crazy. I was just like, that's crazy how you managed to pull that off. I think I was just what, in freshman sophomore year? No, yeah, somewhere around there. I can't remember. My memory
I never
sucks.
really took those threats seriously, especially after my freshman year, after like that, not the bomb threat was like my sophomore year, but there was shooting threats my freshman year. And because my parents worked during the day and they worked pretty far and they couldn't get out, like they couldn't come pick me up. So by the end of the day, usually when they would like have those threats, it would just be like 5 people by the end of the day in my class. And there's usually about 20, 30 people.
Mm.
So I remember I never took it seriously after that. And when somebody like I would hear rumors that somebody in the freshman class is gonna threaten to shoot up the school, I was like, man, are y'all out here doing this shit again? I did not take that shit seriously after that, and it never happened. But obviously, like, not saying I won't ever, but like for me, it's unrealistic. Just not unrealistic. It just never happened to me to where I don't I'm not as like, "Oh shit," panicked. So when that idea of like killer clowns threatening the school doesn't exactly sound like super scary to me,
Yeah,
but it sounds like something that would have happened at my school.
damn.
Mm. Yeah, no, it was a crazy time. There was a lot of stuff going on around that time. Ridiculous.
No, that
Mm-hmm.
2016 was fucking wild. So
They
much
better
shit.
not come back.
I can't believe that shit was 6 years ago. It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. They better not. They better not make a round two. They better not say Killer Clowns Volume 2 coming out
Volume
here,
2.
2022.
They
Not
come
the
back
volume.
The sequel.
Sequel.
It
They're like, yeah, we're going for a trilogy here.
facts.
We'll see you guys in another like almost 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. They pull a Harry Potter.
Oh god.
Make like eight movies.
Literally.
Oh man. No, yeah, but it's definitely something that you got to watch out for, especially like with everything that's going on now. Like there's just man, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
if I were back in 2016 and I would have been like, is this going to happen again? And then plus all this extra other shit that's going on, I wouldn't believe like future me.
No,
No.
I would have been like, you're crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Imagine telling
how would we
yourself in 2016 that you can't pick up a dollar bill. And it's like, why the fuck not? A
Yeah,
$20 bill? Why
exactly.
not?
That shit's
yeah,
money.
I can't pick up $1, $5, $20 bills. Bruh. Yeah, no, I'm not listening.
Mm-mm.
I'm not listening.
No, yeah, for real. Like, how are you going to tell me, like, future
Like
me, how are you going to tell me that, oh, they took away abortion rights?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse? I definitely wouldn't have believed at that point. I would have been like, you're crazy.
Did you
You don't
hear
need to
about,
be like,
you just reminded
yo.
me, did you hear about the law they passed here in Texas that when the school districts are donated these In God We Trust they're like they're like frames or something, but they're like they have to hang them up in the schools. Like it's required that once they are donated to the school, you have to hang up the In God We Trust um
Bullshit.
picture.
What?
Yeah, it's required by law. Hold on, they just passed it. Hold on, let me find it.
That's bullshit.
That's what? Okay. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, apparently you have to. Like you
Like
oh
if that's
shit.
the case, then put everybody else's gods.
Yeah,
You can't
people were
just
like,
put
what if I
one
donate
god.
this? What if I donate like what if I
Yeah, no.
donate the
Yeah.
praise Allah or however
Yeah,
you say
exactly.
and all that? Or
If you're
like
going to say
I
in
don't
God we trust, then put in every God we trust because it's not just one God that people believe in. You got different races,
mm-hmm.
you got different cultures, different religions. How are you going to say in God we trust when you're not even including all of the other gods that exist?
Yeah,
Literally.
some people were saying that they're gonna donate like these specific like signs to the schools and see if they're gonna post them up. Because unless they're only gonna do like the certain like apparently it's the motto, the Texas motto that they requiring schools to put up if they're donated to the school. Like
Mm-mm.
it's really weird. I don't know why that has to be a law
Yeah,
passed.
like why do you have to do that?
Yeah, they just passed it not that long ago. I think it was like earlier this week.
Like I want
Because
to
I just read it this
listen.
week.
They're really trying to put religion into every aspect of life, and it's
I'm
not gonna work
saying it's
well.
not. It's
It's
not.
really gonna cause some bad shit to happen if they keep going. Like it's already causing bad shit, and they just started. So
Yep.
Yeah, the whole reason they wanted to keep politics and religion out of schools was so not only that like people can like no it's not oh my god I can't speak. It's so that way people don't fight. They don't like pick sides. They don't end up like I don't know some hurtful shit, right?
yeah. Like they're
But
kids. They don't need to be focusing on that
They
realistically.
really
Like
don't.
let them live their lives, let them grow up, let them become themselves, and let them honestly and truly, in my personal opinion, let them find their religions and beliefs and
Thank you.
morals and things like that for themselves. Do not take them to
Thank
church and
you.
want them to grow up Christian and then be mad when they're not. Like you are not them, they are not you. They are their own person, and like don't have a child if you're not ready for them to be their own person.
Thank
Dependent
oh
from
you.
yeah.
independent.
Finally. I've
because like,
never heard
really
anybody
fuck-
say that before, and it's relieving to know that there are people such as Allie who can say that, and it's just like,
okay. I believe that shit full heartedly, and I will
no,
fight
for
people.
real.
I will go on hour-long debates about it. Like, you're not gonna catch me slipping. Like, I fully hearted believe in that because that's something that happened with me, and I struggled for a while trying to find myself because I went through a hard time and was always told that, you know, God only gives you things that you can handle and shit like that. And I'm sitting here feeling like I can't handle it.
Mm.
I'm like, something I can handle. How does he get to gauge that? Like, he doesn't know me. And I struggled with that for a really long time until I came to the point where I am now. So it's, you know, it's just like, I don't, like, I was forced to go to church. Like, when my uncle and aunt used to watch me, like, they would go every Sunday. So I had to go every Sunday because, of course, laws and shit. I'm too young to be left alone, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you know, I was always there, didn't want to be there. Like, that was not what I wanted to do. I didn't understand anything. It was all very confusing for me. I was being told this thing that I had to believe in, basically,
Mm-hmm.
being like shoved down my throat when I can't do anything about it. And, you know, it was just like, I don't understand. And it was everywhere, you know, like, I have a lot of, you know, family that was in the church and, you know, extended family through that, you know, people, you know, they become your family throughout the years and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they're all connected to the church. So for a long time, that's all I was surrounded by. And I haven't set foot in a church since I was like maybe 10 because of that. Like 8 to
Nah,
remember.
you
Like,
were braver than me then, because I was forced to go to a church, um mainly, like, it was mainly my aunt and my, you know, my parents used to go to church when I was younger, like I was like maybe 4 or 5, but they would always like take me to a church. And at the time I was very like, I had created like an awesome like family bond with the pastor and the pastor's wife at that church, and so they were like basically family. And so then it was just, my aunt continuously went to a church, and she had to leave the church that we had, and then she went to a different church. And my parents, like, you know, we fell out of the religion, um as a whole. And my aunt was like, "Oh, you can't, you know, not have your daughter not go to church, so I'll take her." So she would take me to church, and she would force me to go to church. And there were days that I'm just like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And it was definitely difficult, only because at the time, I felt like if I didn't go, I would be a big disappointment to the family, only because my grandmother was a very religious woman as well. And so she would be, you know, she would be like, "Oh, make sure you go to church like every Sunday, every Wednesday."
yeah,
And it was just like, I was like, if I don't go, I'm a big disappointment to to the entire family. So then I kept going to church and I like ended up like trying to like be all happy and smiles like all the time. And at one point it was just, I was just really tired of going to something that I didn't feel the same about, like my aunt and her family, you know, how they felt about it. And so I'm just like, I don't want to continue this, I guess you could say, lie, or this double life of me pretending like I do actually want to be here when I don't.
yeah,
And so I ended up not, like, I stopped going like at the age of like maybe 15. And to this day I get questioned as to why I stopped going. And you know, my aunt would always bring up the topic of, "Oh, but you were always so happy when you went. You were always so like uh like you would participate all the time, so I don't understand why you fell out of it." And I'm just like, I just didn't want to go. Like I just didn't, I didn't feel the same way. I'm sorry. Like, I put up a smile like I do with customers at a store. It's the same situation. Like it's not that I don't believe, it's just that I don't, I'm very open-minded, so I can't say that I like I stick to the one religion, I guess you could say. And then the whole like being bisexual thing, it throws them off a lot. So it's just like, but you were doing
Yeah.
so good, like you could have been saved. And I'm like, oh no, don't go there with me. Don't you
Yeah.
dare
We
go there with
fight.
me.
I want actual like
Like, yeah,
fuck
no, I
no.
was just like,
That
don't
would have
touch
had
that
me
topic.
throwing hands, dude.
Yeah, no, I
This,
immediately like stopped her right there. I said, "Do not touch that topic. If you go there, trust me, you are not going to see me ever again. So if you do touch that topic, there's going to be a problem here." So then she
mm-hmm.
immediately was like, she backed off immediately and was just like, "No, like I'm sorry," and like she tried to like no, she did. She apologized and she finally understood as to why I didn't go. And but we didn't say anything to my grandmother only because she's, like I said, very religious. And she has this thing, the woman knows me. She's like, why is it that you stop going to church? Like something's going on. Like I know it's something in your heart and you don't want to tell me. And I said, "Yeah, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to disappoint you." And she goes, "Do you think it'll disappoint me?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, she's like very understanding, so she'll tell me, "Okay, we won't talk about it."
Mm-hmm.
But she knows and it's bugging her. And I can tell that it's bugging her. Because last time I went to go talk to her, she had said the same thing. And she goes, "I understand that you don't want to talk about it, but it's really necessary. Or not necessary, but it's really, I want you to understand that you can be honest and open to me." And I'm just like, I don't feel the same way. Like like you're telling me these things, but I just don't feel it. So it's hard, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just you're over here shoving things to me, like into my mouth, into my throat, into my mind, telling me this is what we have to believe in, this is what we got to go by, this is the
Yeah.
book of
Mm-hmm.
life. But it's not how it is. It's just not. You won't understand unless you fully open your mind to these different things that are going on.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
I used to go to Lakewood when I was a little kid. Like, I used to go to church when I was little, but I remember we stopped going because we would go to Lakewood. And I think it was when it was used to be like before it blew up, before it became like this big fucking chain now instead of a fucking church. And I remember, I think I met Joel Osteen when I was a kid too, but I remember we stopped going because they started paying. They started requiring people to pay, kind of, for like, I guess, like to keep going to church. And we were like, we can't afford it. Like at this point, if you keep going to church, I think if you still keep trying to go to Lakewood, I remember my mom says we don't go because it's not only is there not time apparently, but because we can't afford to go. And it was always so weird to me because it was like, why do we have to why is there a subscription basically, right? And it was very weird to me. And for me, I'm not a religious person, especially growing up, because I used to pray a lot when I was a kid. I used to pray a lot, pretty much almost every night. And then a lot of bad started happening, and I was like, why why is it that the people that hurt me pray to you and they're fine, their lives are great, but I'm the one that's supposedly suffering, that this is the path you chose for me. And it just got so bad to where when I started getting better, I was like, you didn't help me through this. You didn't help me through jack shit. This
Yeah.
is me helping me. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
why would you have your worshippers suffer so much,
Yeah.
especially so young? And then my parents, my mom's religious, my dad's, I don't really know about my dad. My dad's not very open. But when the Gay Rights Act was, gay marriage was passed, and I saw it on the news, we're all watching it together. I remember I was in the living room with my mom, we were watching it, and she said something like, "Oh, it's Adam and Eve, whatever." I go, "It's love is love, like, fuck off with that shit." And I walked out
Yeah.
of the room. Like, I didn't give her a second chance. I didn't give her a second chance to think because, like, don't shove that shit down your kids' throats.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna praise, oh, God is love, oh, God is this, God is that, and then you're gonna go over here and you're gonna shove all this fucking hate down somebody's throat about like these specific people, and I don't
Yeah.
understand that shit.
No, exactly. And that just reminds me of, I don't know if I spoke about this before on the podcast. And I don't think I did, but maybe I haven't. I just don't remember. But it reminds me of the fact that I went through that conversation here as an adult with a
Mm.
coworker of mine. And like I don't talk to her a lot now because we do our own thing. But I don't know if you guys remember, but I had told y'all about this conversation and how it pissed me off because it was a regular training day. So we had to be there 8
Mm.
to 5. We had our lunch, we had our breaks, but it was at this point of the training where we just got into little groups. So it was little groups of 2, and it was me and another coworker. And she was talking about, like, we had finished all of our like stuff, and she was talking about how God is love and God is pure. And there was, she was talking about how she had met some people, and they were just she was like, It's just so sad to see that these people are going through like this fight in their mind, in their brain, that they can't seem to understand that they need to not be loving the same sex." And I'm just like, mm. I was like,
So,
I stayed quiet because I was just like, if I go off on this lady now, I'm gonna get fired for sure. So, and it was my, like, I didn't want to lose this job because it's something I wanted to keep. So then I was just like, okay. And so then I was just like, okay, cool. And then I like tried to drop the whole thing, but she didn't go for it. She was like, yeah, like, I remember we had this person come speak at our church, and that they were saved from being gay. And he had,
Ugh.
like, because he was gay for this amount of this amount of years, and he got cancer, and then he came back to us, and then he got saved, he stopped being gay, he doesn't think about it, he doesn't like feel that anymore. And I'm just like, I was like, damn.
That's
I
so
was like,
sad.
bro, I was like, man, I really wanted to say something, and I had told her, I was like, yeah, that's great. I'm gonna be right back. So I had like stepped away, and I was just furious at that point because it's not something that you should just talk about with a person that you don't know.
Yeah.
Because it
Mm-hmm.
was it was very, like, like, I'm over here like, man, she's really saying all this stuff, but that's me, like, like, you're telling me not to love the same sex. But what if I actually love that person? Like, what if I truly love that person to where, like, I want to have like a whole life with this person? Like, how are you going to tell me that I cannot look for love that way?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, you're over here talking about. And I had told her, like, I was just like, yeah, it's crazy because I don't go to church anymore. And I'm just like, um I just and like, we had our cameras on, so she kind of noticed that I was just kind of like, I don't want her to talk to this, like, I don't want her to talk about this. So she immediately was just like, she stayed quiet for the rest of the time. But I was just furious, and I was just like, man, like, you really shouldn't say this stuff. And I wanted to tell the trainer. I remember I was telling the girls that I wanted to tell the trainer, and I wanted him to like talk to her on the side if he could. But then I realized I'm not gonna be seeing this person a lot. I'm not gonna be talking to this person. Um, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But I realize now that I should have said something, only because I didn't want her to do the same thing to another person. And
Yeah.
I essentially, I did text that trainer, like, after our training, and I had told him what had happened, and he was like, "Oh, I completely understand." I don't know if he talked to her or not, because I mean, I'm not um communicating with her. So, and I'm just like, and she hasn't communicated with me, so I'm assuming he did. But it's just it's not, in my opinion, it's not right to shove things down people's throats and say that the Bible is how we're supposed to be living, and how, everything that's going on is normal. It's already been predicted in the okay, yes, it's been predicted in the book. Okay, great. Now, what can we do to make it change and
Right.
not stick to the damn book? You know what I mean? Like, we
Yeah.
can make things change. We don't have to stick to this book. We can do it. We have our own free will, but you're saying that God knows everything. God knows, this is how he set our paths. What
Yeah.
can we do to make it change? What can we do to not have those predictions come true? You know what I mean? Like, somebody had mentioned to me that, oh, they predicted that Donald Trump, like the Bible had predicted that something like this would happen. Donald Trump would get
Oh,
elected as president, blah blah blah. Okay,
you know what I
but we
hate
got
is
here because you wanted to. We could have avoided
mhm.
all of this mess if we didn't go for him. So what happened? Why did we stick to the book? It's just,
Mhm.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's just, we have our own free
Mhm.
will. We do. But people don't
And
want
we're
to
so
realize
like
that.
advanced this age too. Like what
No,
bothers
for
me,
real.
especially about the whole abortion thing, about like people using the Bible as like the how should I say? Using it as like, oh yeah, as soon as like the egg is fertilized, it's life. Like, no, it's not. And then now the doctors are scared to this day to even like perform a surgery on somebody. Like, even if there's a faint heartbeat, even if like there's 100% certainty that that fetus is gonna die, they won't perform the surgery until the heartbeat is absolutely gone, and even by then, the woman's body can be in such extreme like distress and have an infection, but
Exactly.
and everything. I remember seeing the story about how this woman's mother, um, she had a miscarriage, and the doctors had her had blood transfusions for 3 days while the board just was trying to decide for 3 days whether she should live or die, whether she should have the surgery or not. And she said that's the first time she had ever seen her father in front on his knees in front of like all these men begging for his wife's life. And they brought in her as like proof, like, hey, this lady needs to live because she's a mother. She needs like the surgery. Like, why does that need to be determined? And then even that woman, she was now a grown adult, telling the story. She said, I was so happy when Roe v. Wade was passed because now nobody will have to experience what I did when I was a child. Very traumatizing. And now that it's gone, doctors don't want to perform surgeries and the shit's happening all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there
And
was
then people are using the Bible as like an excuse. Like, no, it's not. That's not how that shit works.
a recent thing, I don't know where, but this girl had gotten pregnant, but she had cancer, and they genuinely sat down and had a meeting on whether to give her chemo or not so she could have the baby instead of aborting the baby so that she could get chemo and live. And they chose the baby or the fetus, and they both died because she died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
there's
morally
there's a
make the decision.
It's
Like, as a person, how do you not want what's best for the human that you're looking at in front of you?
exactly. Like, I
there was a
understand that a lot of people, especially in the Catholic religion, are very against abortion only because they think it's murder for a child. Now, I understand
mhm.
that, but abortion means a lot more than that for a
Yeah, it's
woman.
not
It's a
murdering
lot more
like,
than that.
oh, yeah,
You've
it's a medical procedure. It's not literally trying to murder or something. It's like literally your body cannot carry this thing for any longer. And if it does, fuck, you're gonna need like so much either to help yourself or not even help the thing that you're trying to get rid of. Like
Yeah.
having a miscarriage would not save the child. Whatever you would do, a miscarriage, it's not going to help. I mean, there's rare occasions, like these, like if anybody's like, oh yeah, but it can like, my mom had a miscarriage and I ended up coming. Like, no, dude, like then that's like amazing, you know. But
Yeah.
that was her choice to still have you.
Exactly. Like, it's the fact that the choice is being taken away for literally no reason by people who the choice wouldn't even affect, and it's so upsetting.
I think I saw this video where this politician recently he didn't realize that voting for against Roe v. Wade, like I think it's his like mistress or his wife or maybe even his daughter, but they had a miscarriage and or they're trying to get an abortion, their life's at risk, and he said, "Oh, I never realized it would get this far. I didn't realize what would come of it." Like you voted against this shit and you had no idea what actually came of
Right.
it. You're a
Like,
fucking
we're just
politician. You're over here speaking for other people.
yeah, like you think you could put like full knowledge into that decision? Please and thank you. Like, my life is literally in your hands right now.
There was a Texas mom. She had a miscarriage and they were making her wait. She ended up getting sepsis and died. Her and the baby. And it was like literally no need for that shit to happen. If
No.
as soon as like she was, because the doctors were too scared. They were too scared to perform it and then getting their license taken away if they were reported. That's the scary shit.
And see,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's the thing. Even if this was in place, if I was in the shoes of a doctor, I would not give a shit. You are about to
Literally.
die. My job is to save you as a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. So if it was me, I would have immediately would have been like, you know what, fuck this. Let's get this going because we cannot have two people die.
Yeah, they
Because
Literally.
took an
just the
oath
fetus
for that
can.
shit. There's a
Exactly.
whole oath for that, and they took it. And if you don't like go for it, then it's like, holy shit! Then what the hell did you become a doctor for? For the pay? For
Literally.
like the tons and tons of debt that you go through?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that like anybody as like how do you just not have compassion as a person? Like, I don't understand how we got to this point where you're literally deciding for the fate of people's lives and you're putting no thought, no care, no anything into it. Like, that's just it's insane to me. I can't even fathom how that's a possibility at this point. With like the advanced world that we're in, that we're still in that prehistoric mindset, and it's insane.
Yeah, people are sticking it, and then people will try and defend those people, saying like, "Oh, that was a different time. That was something else." Like, you've had enough time to evolve. There's enough time to learn
Exactly.
something new, to understand the thing that's going on, to understand what's at play. But instead, the excuse is, "Oh, but they lived through another time." Like, no, that other time's gone. I don't
Yeah.
remember that well what happened fucking 15 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
remember bits and pieces. I remember like the basics of
Mm-hmm.
what I guess happened, but I can't remember what happened when I was a child. You
Yeah.
learn new
Yeah.
shit and you adapt to it.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Truly, truly ridiculous.
Any
Um,
other way? I think the moral to this entire episode was watch out for each other and
Just
everything.
Yeah, just
yeah,
take care of
and
each other. There's no need to be going at our throats like for these different reasons. Like it it's crazy how one little thing has gone this far.
yeah, for sure.
There was no reason for it, but um we are coming up to a we got to come up to a stopping point, so I guess here's where we'll stop it. I did want to mention before the end of this episode that we do truly appreciate everybody who's been supporting the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We are just getting back for this season, so this is our only this is our own wait whoa this is only our second episode. for this season, and we hope to have many more episodes for this season and many other seasons
Yeah.
for this podcast. And just as a reminder, we do have this episode being posted or going to be posted on Spotify and on YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening it through there, it's already been posted. And but you could definitely join our Twitter, or follow our Twitter. You can also follow each of our own Twitch channels here on Twitch. We all have our own thing going on as well. And we also have our own Discord for the podcast. So if you want to join any of those, you can take a look at our Twitter, or Facebook, and you'll find all of the links for those in there as well.
Yeah. And I guess with that, we are going to be ending this episode here. We just want to thank all of you so much for being here with us and going with us through this journey, and for letting us be a part of your night. We hope that you have a great rest of your night and an amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you again next time. Catch you on the next one.
Powerpuffs out.